We can go right into questions. I can start off here. We actually have a
Beautiful.
really nice question from Annie Wagner. Thank you again, Annie Wagner.
Thank you.
For your participation in our program. Annie says, I'm 5'2" tall, and I often find myself feeling insecure about how much shorter I am than my friends. For example, if I'm taking a group photo, I have to stand on my toes so I can seem like I'm the same height as them. Plus, it is much harder to intimidate them when they're at least a few inches taller than me. How can I make myself grow taller? If this is not possible, how can I trick my friends into thinking I'm taller without them becoming suspicious? Thanks.
There are already so many parts that I want to touch on here. First on, why do you need to trick your friends into thinking that you're taller? Second off, why don't we just focus on how, instead of making you taller, somehow making your friends shorter?
Yeah, the first thing I thought of when I read this was I've always heard the idea of you can put a brick on your head and just kind of tape it there or whatnot, and after time it will just weigh you down and make you shorter. I don't know how much time that would be.
I don't need a brick to weigh me down. I have
friends.
plenty weighing me down already, Will.
I have plenty of emotional baggage weighing me down already. Yeah, you could wait until your friends' birthdays and each at different times get them an artisan brick and say it's for your head. And it comes with like a nice head strap, like a cute bonnet with a bow on top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like it comes with a couple of like doodling pens, and you could make it like decorated however you want.
It's like a whiteboard for your face.
Yeah, it's like Doodle Bear. You remember those?
I remember Doodle Bear.
Yeah, Doodle Bear. I think that's the name of it. It's like a Doodle Bear, but a
Good
brick.
Doodle Bear.
It's kind of Doodle Bear plus Pet Rock for your head, so that they're shorter.
Honestly, first thing that came to mind, and I think it's the ultimate solution to anybody that wants to be taller. It's immediately what I thought of when I heard, oh, you're short and you want to be taller. Do you remember moon shoes?
Oh, do I remember?
Little trampolines for both your feet. Individual trampolines.
I had moon shoes. Me and my sister both asked for moon shoes for our birthdays, and they were pretty similar, like like they were pretty close. And so we both got moon shoes, and I think I was probably 10, and I was both too overweight, and my feet were just too large that it just didn't work. And with all the rubber bands tied to it, my feet went straight to the ground.
No.
I was only like 10, and my sister was just like floating on air, and I was so jealous. But yeah, you could do moon shoes.
Yeah, you could.
You're probably smaller than I was at the age of 10. Oh.
Also, here's another idea. Get very good at Photoshop. And what I'm trying to say is, if you know how to cut yourself out individually in a photo, take a photo with your friends. Sure, you're the short one in the front, but what you do is you cut yourself out and you stretch yourself all the way from the top to the bottom of that photo. And
Yeah,
then,
you ever had any insecurities about your torso or your legs being too small? Well, this is your chance to stretch them right out in post-editing.
yeah, and I'm not just talking like, you know how people do it to change their appearance or the acne or whatever. I'm saying full on, like, you remember those stretch chamber torture machine things that we heard about? Like, where people
magic
used to get
growth pills. That's all we're talking about.
Yeah, just imagine that it happened overnight and bada boom, all of a sudden you're the length of Wilt from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends. Good
Super
reference,
relevant.
Zane.
Yeah.
Everybody
Good
knows
job.
that
A
one.
large red thing with one eye. Yeah.
But then, when your friends are like, hey, can you send me the photo that we took? You say, oh, sure. And then you say, sorry if I'm blocking you, by the way, in this photo. I know that I am super tall, and that is sometimes a problem in our photos. And they'll see in that moment, oh, wow, Annie's way taller than I remember. Man, she must be so cool.
Yeah, she's really cool with all this extra growth she has. Idea also, stilettos everywhere. Stilettos literally everywhere. Show up to, like class at an 8 a.m. class and sweatpants and stilettos. And just say, I don't know, it's just my thing. And now not only are you the girl who's not short, you're now stiletto girl. And it's just like, hey, who's that person? Oh, that's the girl who always wears stilettos. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Other idea. This is a very important business, and I'm going to need you to agree that you're on board with this business before I say what it is.
I'm apprehensive, but yes.
Yes! All right, perfect. We start a business where and it's going to sound so bad right off the bat. where we sell 2 individual children to
So
to
your businesses sell 2 children.
to each person that comes by, so that they can, one on the bottom, one on the middle, and then you on the top, all in a trench coat. You are always
We'll name it the other 2/3 of the person you always wanted to be plus a trench coat. It rolls off the tongue. Co.
the end company.
Trademark.
Yes, of course, TM.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody stealing that.
The other 2/3 the person you always wanted to be. Congratulations, Annie. You're 8 feet tall, approximately, but you will continue to grow over time because the children are not done growing.
That's the best perk about it. That's what I didn't get to, is that the children are like 7 or 8, and so they're like not even close to done growing. Also, you can finally get into those R-rated movies that you've always wanted to see.
Yeah, you won't get carded for like PG-13 movies and then be asked where your parents are before you have to bring out like your student ID or whatnot. Also, the only downside, it's kind of like buying a puppy, because 10 or 12 years down the road, you'll be very sad as the child says, well, I'm a comfortable height, I'm not insecure, so I'm gonna move on with my life, and you're still short.
Wait a minute, though. Do they come back to us for 2 other kids themselves?
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, I think we have to give kids that are genetically short to other people.
Yes.
Because as long as there's 3 of you, you're probably going to make up a normal person.
That's true. Or let's say the only huge downside. Yes, somehow there is only one downside to this business scheme, Will. Somehow the only downside to this whole thing is if one of the 2 children that you acquire happens to outgrow you in length over the time that you have been with them, they then get to be the top person, and you have to take their place as the torso or the legs.
Yeah, you're kind of rolling the dice on that if you become the shortest, which is likely since you are doing this because you're short. Sorry about your insecurity about being short, but I still vote for going stiletto girl until we get our business proposition.
That or moon
place.
shoes for sure. And if you
shoes.
happen to be good
Moon
with
shoes is a
Photoshop,
statement.
that'll work. That'll work pretty dang well.